Howdy guys, it's Sunday night. Welcome to the APAT show, 10 p.m. Lee, we've got the marvellous Brendan with us again tonight.
I know, before anybody starts shouting bloody repeats, I can't believe it on a Sunday night. Can they not be bothered? You don't worry, don't adjust your sets, folks. We just decided we'd get Brendan back on for a back-to-back. It's all good. How you doing, Brendan?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks very much.
Tell me, Brendan, there's one question I've got to ask on behalf of everybody watching in. Have you moved at all in the last week? Right, that's how we saw you a week ago. Have you moved at all? That's what we need to know, Brendan.
I haven't had time to get the APAT t-shirt on, unfortunately, but I have moved. I've done a lot of moving, Des, since last week.
I'm sure you have. Talking about the APAT t-shirt, Lee, that brought to mind to me the famous Simon Lawler, what I like to call the Brazilian APAT t-shirt, Betfair, Season 4, 2010. Maybe we should try and find one of those and send it to Brendan so that if he comes on again next week, we could have one wearing the thing.
Well, I know Simon's still got one, and he's very proud of wearing that. He's very proud that he can still fit into it from Season 4. So he was quite happy to say the least. But yeah, all good. Yeah, well, we're going to catch up with Brendan because one thing for a fact is Brendan went to Cheltenham on Friday, so we can have a bit of a chat about the Cheltenham week. I had a pretty good week on the Cheltenham bets. It was quite good bit of fun. Following some of the doubles and treble. I had a couple of anti-post wins as well, so all good. I don't claim to know anything. I just get the old pin board out and have a pick and Cheltenham's one of those weeks, isn't it? Cheltenham is one of those weeks, isn't it, where you just it's the atmosphere of it, whether you follow horses or not. Really, it's just something you can just easily get involved in and enjoy.
Yeah. I have to say, I won't have a particularly big contribution to this part of the discussion. I haven't a clue about horses, other than I know they've got 4 legs. They generally sort of, are bet on and stuff like that. But outside of that, because I just don't know the horses. I just don't know the characters.
But a headline though from Friday, apart from obviously Brendan was there, but obviously Rachel Blackmore, first female jockey to win the Gold Cup. So a massive big headline. Story from
that is pretty good. She had a big spill.
Awesome.
Didn't she have a big spill earlier on in the festival as well? She fell off of a horse or something.
I might well have done.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw a picture. So Brendan, were you there or were you just betting?
Yeah, no, but I'm very like yourself, Des. Horses. I'm zero interest in horses, but I did get a fantastic invite because my son's father-in-law was having his retirement party on Friday at Cheltenham. So it was a fantastic day. We had a steam train journey directly into Cheltenham Racecourse.
Brilliant. From where, Brendan? From
a place called Toddington.
Okay, I've heard of Toddington. I'm not sure I could tell you. Is that close to Pontefract at all?
No, it's just north. It's in the
Wales.
Cotswolds, just north. just north of. Is it north or south of Cheltenham? I think it might be south. Wow. It's Gloucestershire Warwickshire Steam Railway. So narrow gauge. Really, really fantastic.
I'll tell you what. I was going to say, listen, Brendan, I'm going to let you go. But there's a couple of Irish guys discussing English geography. The numbers are falling dramatically. There's nobody watching as we speak. So listen, you got into Cheltenham. How many days did you have at the festival then?
Oh no, just there for Friday.
Okay.
It's expensive, Des.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Which I suppose is probably why you've never been there, Des. Yeah.
I just know. I mean, I'm not afraid to go into expensive places because I'm good with managing my money, as you know. But it's just I wouldn't know what to do there. I mean, I'd probably bet based on either a second favorite or third favorite to try and get a bit of value, but absolutely no idea of horses and going.
I feel really
and all
bad
of that
now.
stuff.
I feel really bad now because I don't know whether you'll remember this, Des, but you've already mentioned Season 4. Talking about Simon's Betfair t-shirt, but that season obviously we were sponsored by Betfair, and
indeed,
I went to Cheltenham courtesy of Betfair that year.
Did you? Did you?
I don't know if you remember this, yeah. Or maybe you didn't get the email. I'm not sure how that worked.
I may have got the email and thought,
I had a lovely day, honestly.
I may have got the email and thought, pass that to Wilshire, please.
When you
don't tell him I said anything.
What you do is you eat a lot and you drink the free bar and you take all the freebies that are on offer, and I had a great day. Yeah.
There's always a costly. It's called the betting, I have to say. Well, listen, Cheltenham side, and I'm sure we'll come back to Cheltenham because we certainly want to know how Brendan got on his day, getting his cash out of his wallet. But that aside, Lee, what are the guys playing tonight? I can see there's a bunch of you out there. Asa says evening all. Frank Bailey says have the t-shirt if Brendan wants it. So that collectible from season 4. There are a couple still in circulation. So if you want one, Brendan, we can organise it. It'll be £110 though. Because prices, they just go up, Brendan. They go up. That's a collectible now.
Inflation these days.
It's inflation. APAT will take 10% of that. So, if you want to say hello, guys, if there's anything you want to talk about tonight, just, pile into the chat box.
I see Aces in the chat, Des. I think he's getting in. He's getting in early, ready for a bit of semi-final fisticuffs, I reckon. FA Cup draw. I saw that earlier on.
Well,
today.
I'm sure.
Liverpool. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, with the 4 teams left in, I think I know all the other 3 would have wanted to get Crystal Palace, but
well, joking aside, Liverpool played at Sellers Park going back probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. And to be honest, it's been the toughest match we've had all season. So I don't think there'll be an easy draw for Chelsea at all. I think a lot of pace out wide, but I'm sure Ace is like me. He's not thinking about the cup semi-final because, of course, the Sunday prior, we've got our league game. April the 10th.
Oh, you're doing literally back-to-back games against each other.
Well, we've got a second leg Champions League quarter-final, both teams, right smack in the middle of that as well. So it's all about the league game, right? You'd take the league game any day.
Just so you know, this Champions League thing, Des, is again, it's similar to the FA Cup thing. I don't think we were in it this year. I don't think they bothered to ask us to come along. So it's another one we've missed out on, unfortunately. Anyway, let me talk. Let me run through what the guys are playing tonight. It's week 52 of Leaderboard Ladders, so usual thing on a Sunday night. 4 tournaments. Deep Stack has already concluded. Oliver Cox from the UK beat Raymond Chan from Canada heads up. So well done to you guys. Oliver picked up $245 for his
nice.
Trouble. Main event has got 73 runners. We're paying top 13. We're already on the final table, which we've got up there, so you can keep an eye on it. We're down to 7 players in that. You'll recognise Pontus Dahlgren from Sweden, Margaret Orgel from the UK, Martin Mulso from Austria, and our very own Dan Williams. Is on that final table as well. Dan's currently 6th of the 7 remaining, so we'll keep an eye on that. $676 up top for the winner of that one. The PLO, Brendan unfortunately just bubbled the final table of that one with 27 runners tonight. We're paying top 5 in that. Chip leader at the moment is one Richard Rudling Smith.
I've heard the name before.
Yeah. I think it's his first week playing online poker, so he's doing really, really well. So best of luck to Richard. I'm sure we'll follow his journey, his poker journey as he progresses. And it was experience. And finally, at 9 o'clock, the Turbo Knockout only just got past the guarantee tonight. $520 in that in total. 52 runners. We are down to 23. We're paying top 9 in that at the moment, and Brendan is currently 11th of those remaining 20.
Okay, that adds a little bit of spice there from the couch. As it were, Brendan going deep in that one. So what a week, guys, and what a week ahead. So APAT London beginning to come onto the horizon, right? That's not too far away. The first couple of days of April, we'll see us at Aspers in Stratford. I did a little teaser, Lee, as I'm known to do from time to time. I throw a little curveball just to see if, just to keep you awake, right? Just to ensure you're continually challenged. And I mentioned to the guys earlier that we might tease the window that they can maybe expect to see the WCOAP. So I'm not sure tonight we can talk about venues or go into any detail in terms of events and stuff like that. But what do you think? Can we at least
I thought it was windows
like
something like Play School is we're looking through the square window today, or something like that. We can we give
them something?
I think think we can, because I mean, you already alluded to the fact that it was not going to be August and we were going to be earlier, and so yeah, we can pretty much say we're looking at the end of June, beginning of July, for the Worlds this year. So in the UK, and as soon as we can do, we will get those exact dates out for you, so you can start making making plans. Plan is it will be across a couple of weekends. And so as soon as we can let you know any more, we will do, which hopefully will be very, very soon. We're not dragging this out for any reason at all. It's just a case of we need to get everything agreed and signed off, and as soon as we can, then we will get that information out to you guys, so you can start making plans. But that is that's it. So we're looking at the end of June, early July.
Just look at those weekends, guys, I would say, and think of a chunky bit in between. Lee, this is our first, if I'm not mistaken, early summer WCOEP. So we've always been either Easter previously or, late August, so bank holiday weekends. This is going to be an interesting, clashes a little bit with Vegas, right? So if you're, if you're planning to go to Vegas, maybe you're going to have a question there. If you haven't already committed to that, do you keep your money aside and do the WCOEP, or do you go sort of early World Series of Poker? I mean, I think we'll leave some people with some decisions to have to make now.
Yeah, and so for some, it may well be decisions are already made. We fully appreciate that that it is a little bit of a different timing to when we've normally done the Worlds. We'll let's say as soon as we can get the information out, then hopefully that can allow people to make decisions. But first, I'm fully aware that some people will have already made plans. And I mean, the way I look at, certainly if we're talking Vegas, the way I look at it is as much as the Worlds is great, kind of you can kind of go with the fact, well, you're going to be in Vegas, so it's not the end of the world if you can't make the event in the UK. That's for sure.
Have we checked where Tom is, Lee? Is Tom gonna operate it from Vegas?
What, Tom Brady?
Yeah.
I've not checked his calendar, to be honest.
Oh no,
I'm not quite sure,
because I'm in Vegas. I'm in Vegas that weekend, Lee. How about you?
Oh, I was planning on being in Vegas.
You're going to Vegas as well, Brendan.
That was the idea.
Brendan, are you here? Are you here at the end of June? Because we're looking for people now.
I arrive home from Vegas on the 2nd.
Brendan's not here either.
No. Brendan genuinely. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I knew for a fact Brendan genuinely was in Vegas.
Fantastic.
That's the thing. Whereabouts are you staying in Vegas? Have you booked your hotels and stuff yet, Brendan?
Yeah,
or you?
I always stay in the Nugget. I like it down there.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Love the Nugget. Love Fremont Street. Brilliant down there.
Yeah.
Little buzz of old town Vegas.
I'm doing 10 days this year.
Wow.
First time, which is long for me. Simply because I qualify for both seniors on this occasion, and probably will.
Have they lowered the age or something then, Brendan? How does that work? I don't understand.
Come May, I will be the full round 6-0 and play the super seniors.
Wow.
So looking forward to that. It's going to be nice. But sort of feel like I can't give up on playing the seniors. So I'll probably play both of those events.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. What type of buy-ins, Brendan, to those ones?
They are $1,000.
$1,000 each.
Each of those events, yeah.
Yeah, and do you feel what sort of edge do you feel you have in that type of field?
Well,
it's easy to perceive playing older players. A lot of the Vegas older players might perhaps be a little out of touch. I'm sure it's not the case.
I'm thinking about is I'm yet to see Brendan fall asleep at a poker table, so that's got to give him one advantage.
He's got an edge there straight away.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the first time I played, I felt I would have had an edge. I did cash in the event, but then I went for 4 or 5 duck eggs after that initial cash in the seniors event. So. I could be due some run good.
That'd be nice. Maybe we'll get Brendan to sneak a camera in, Lee, and maybe we'll take some live streaming from him. We can do that.
We could. And what's your take on the change of venue? Obviously, it's a kind of a fresh new start for the World Series, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because although the Rios, I mean, I did stay in the Rio and be honest, it really is a dump. Let's be honest. But in terms of like, it sort of became synonymous then with the World Series, and the setup around the convention center was very good. It was easy to get into. It was, because we always drove. Myself and my brother always had a car for the week, so we stay downtown. So that way we can go and play poker anywhere we like, drive to that, and then once we hit back downtown, we can have a drink
Fantastic.
and stuff like that with the car parked up. So it's handy. Like the Rio was very handy for getting in and out of, getting some parking.
Yeah.
And lots of different entrance ways into it. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how it works in a very much a bottleneck down on the strip.
Yeah. Well, I presume there must be a way into Bally's and Paris from the back. So, off of the strip. I mean, as there was with the Rio, I assume, but I don't know. It's not something I've looked at. But that seems like,
No,
I mean,
I'd
have to think.
behind. So behind the two hotels is
Yeah.
obviously the monorail. This
Yeah.
is a monorail station for Bally's and Paris. But then again, yes, then you've got the situation that you're further back again to effectively where the wheel is, isn't it? At the link and that kind of thing. So it does go quite a way back. So I think yes, it'll be well sorted, because that is it is actually a big convention center there, which I think has actually got more space, they were saying, than actually there was at the Rio. So it's actually going to be a bigger playing area than was actually at the Rio. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works out. What I would say is I know that the Bromleys stay at Paris when they go to Vegas, and I did look at prices of Paris rooms and things like that, and actually it's very reasonable. If you wanted to actually stay out there, and Bally's is even cheaper to stay at, and there doesn't seem like the prices are going through the roof because the World Series is going to be held there for a period of time. The prices seem pretty reasonable if you're looking for rooms.
The bottleneck seems to be the flights. There's not the choice of flights is not there this year compared to previous years. So, I had to quickly grab up Dublin, Chicago.
Yeah.
But I mean, normally my preferred choice would be, Dublin Gatwick, Dublin Manchester, and take the Virgin, but I couldn't get that this year. So,
well, at the moment, Virgin are still only doing one direct flight from Heathrow. That's all they're doing at the moment. They're certainly not offering any reward points flights. You cannot get those for anything out to the West Coast at the moment. Nothing available. Not even just during the World Series time. There's nothing available all year at the moment, because I've spoken to Virgin about it, and the line is a simple one, that they've not got all their routes back on at the moment. They've not got the number of flights they would normally have. Demand is going through the roof. Therefore, they're not worried at the moment. So you're seeing prices creep up, and certainly with the fuel situation at the moment as well. There's, you're looking at comfortably, there's been a sort of a 10-15% increase on a lot of flights just in the past couple of weeks. So it's a tricky one at the moment for those looking to get out to Vegas. You are kind of limited on what you could do. I know BA fly out, I think they're at least once a day out of Heathrow to direct to Vegas, but I think you're right, Brendan. Some of the connecting options are far better, either flying into say Boston, Chicago, LAX, even doing New York as a stopover gives you far more flexibility, and then picking up an internal American flight.
The only problem, I do think my preference anyway is to go further than East Coast. So Chicago's okay. The problem with doing, I've done Philadelphia, I've done New York, I've done Boston. The problem with that is you've then got like a 4.5-5 hour flight to Vegas on like a 737. So it's about like it's about as long as you'd really want to be on a smaller plane like that.
Yeah.
First world problems, I know, but
that's true.
No, but it is it is a serious, it is something you have to take into account when you're looking at these things.
So from Chicago, it's 3.5, which is kind of okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. So
it's not massively out of the way. I mean, it's better option than New York. I'd have thought, Brendan. Where I've always tended to stop because I've got a brother in New York, so I've always taken advantage of that little stopover and try to grab a couple of hours or whatever. But yeah, Chicago, quite as good a link as any, I would have thought. I mean, a lot of people will go all the way over to LA and then come back.
Yeah, the one that I had one cancelled. I had a trip cancelled during lockdown, and I was going San Francisco. So
yeah,
that would have been a force for us.
Well, Virgin are still doing 3 flights a day to LAX. So and there's so many flights you can then get LAX to Vegas, or to be honest, it's about a 4-hour drive, I think, if you wanted to do the drive, and that's an option as well. I think Tom has done the drive from LAX to Vegas before now. So yeah, there are other options to do it, but I don't see Virgin in any huge hurry to be adding any additional flights. They're certainly not planning on adding a Manchester flight at the moment, I don't think, because I don't think they're not seeing enough of a demand to get back to that yet. But I'm sure we will at some point.
The other thing, which is very, very strange, is the car hire is just through the roof.
Yeah,
I'd normally just hire a car, flights, hotel, and car all in one. But the price of the
so do you want to know the story behind that?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, go. I'd love to know.
So what happened was the pandemic hit, and all of the car hire companies, certainly a lot of them in the States, sold off their fleets.
Yeah.
Because
the
they weren't getting the tourists in, so they sold off their fleets. Then obviously, as things switch back on, it's a lot harder to buy vehicles at the moment because there's a shortfall of vehicles. So they're trying to basically get their fleets back up. They can't do so, therefore prices are going through the roof. My brother's going to Florida in May, and he said the higher price was silly, and again he's spoken to some people to work out what was going on and what situations, and that's pretty much what's happened. Is the hire companies pretty much offloaded most of their fleet during lockdown and have struggled to be able to get the volumes back that they need, even to cope with just the numbers that are traveling at the moment. So therefore, prices just go up and up and up.
Makes sense.
So that's what's happened. So Frank's in the chat and says, so resort fees now in Vegas hotels. I think so. Not everyone's done a resort fee, but it does seem to be, they do seem to have creeped up a little bit. Certainly since I last went about 4 or 5 years ago.
It's quite normal, isn't it? A resort fee in Vegas hotels.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very many that wouldn't charge a resort fee.
They're expensive too. They really are expensive.
Yeah, well, you're probably looking at about $40 a day plus tax, something like that.
Which is chunky. If you're not used to paying them, if you're you've holidayed in Europe or whatever, they're not the norm.
I see a lot of the bookings, the UK booking companies now just offer the option of having that built in, and it's paid. You just pay it up front, and they effectively make the payment to the hotel.
That makes sense.
So
in advance, which is neat.
I usually cover my resort fee through playing, a couple of hours cash in the Nugget.
That's just a brag.
I mean, how much do you need? How much do you need to play to do that? Literally a couple of hours a day? Does that pretty much cover resort fee each day? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's and between that and playing like some of the Grand Series there in the Golden Nugget, you'd easily rack up a few points easily, very easily.
Perfect.
Oh, that's a handy one to know.
Yeah.
If you could, and is the Golden Nugget an independent, or is it part of any other group? Is there anywhere else you can play where you can pick those points up on that, or not?
I really do not know if it's
sure the Golden Nugget. The only thing I know about the Golden Nugget was the only casino that would never ever help sort you out with your tax paperwork if you ever needed that for a first time.
It's owned by a It's owned by a restaurant business, Lee. It's Landry's Restaurants that own the Golden Nugget. So it's a strange one, right? But they're doing very well online at the moment. Very well.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good. That is good. So yeah, so I'll be interested to know who's planning on doing Vegas, who's not, who's interested to know more about obviously when we can let you know more about the world's dates. But what we can say is we're looking at end of June, early July for that. So we'll let you know more. We're down to 3 in the main event. Unfortunately, we've lost Margaret and Dan from that, but Giuliano Filo from Brazil is currently chip leader in that, with Pontus Dahlgren, who's a regular player with APAT from Sweden, in second. Martin Mulso, again, another regular player from Austria, in third. We're down to 5, so the guys are all in the money in the PLO. Richard Rudling-Smith is still chip leader in that one, and we are down to 12, paying top 9 in the. I was to say we're down to 12. We're now down to 11. Des.
No.
Showbock has done its business again. I mean, what I will say on a positive, picked up $6.25 in bounties, so it's an $11 tournament. So he's got a little bit of his money back in bounties along the way, and just missed the money by a couple of places. So very
unlucky, Brendan.
Very close.
Yeah, I haven't managed to. Well, I haven't played much this week. I've been very busy, so I'm going down the snake again on the leaderboard.
Yeah, he's going to drop down another step by the looks of it.
Yes. No. Yes. Listen, talking about crashing close to the line. Sorry, Brendan. Did either of you guys see the return of Formula One today?
Yeah, I was following it in Birmingham Airport on the updates. I don't feel the same about it this year.
Really?
To be honest,
that's interesting.
Yeah, the last day of last year, I just thought that was just so unfair.
It definitely was unfair.
I just thought, like, this is bloody ridiculous. Like, that was it was amateur hour. It really was, from such. It's supposed to be, elite sports organization.
Yeah, hard to argue.
I kind of felt for Lewis Hamilton, because I thought he drove a very composed and professional race to take the championship, and for that car spinning out and the ridiculous sort of halfway house ruling, he would have nailed down another championship.
Yeah, that's very true. Can't argue with any of that. I didn't read it, but I understand the report on that. The independent report came out either yesterday or today, and it does admit that faults were made, and obviously Massey, the race director, has been removed from his position, but of course they've chosen not to impact on the results. So yeah, quite a heavy defeat for Lewis Hamilton in the grand scheme of things, because there's no guarantee he'll get back into that position again. It's just not guaranteed, and for him that would have made him the most decorated Formula One world champion of all time. So quite a big deal. But he's pragmatic and he's mature. I think I saw an interview with him today, which in which he said, I just checked out of social media and I went and spent some time with my family, post COVID. Haven't really done that a lot, and I think he's come back, refreshed and ready to go again. But what makes this season a bit interesting is that, of course, they've changed the cars completely. They were designed from
that's what I was going to say. See, I'm not really a big Formula One follower, but I did see the result today, and I read the kind of the report on it, and the talk was McLaren are way off the whole speed, but yet still managed to finish third and fourth and brothers. So
Mercedes.
what has changed? So Mercedes, what has changed so much that has completely ripped up whatever the form book guide was from the last couple of years to where we're at now? It's
literally they've redesigned. So they've redesigned the cars from the ground up. So they're working on ground effect cars, which means the cars are lower to the ground, with the idea being that you're going to use airflow to suck the car down to the ground, giving you speed in that way. The benefit of that is that the car behind doesn't get as negatively impacted from just chaotic air hitting it, right? So there was always a problem with F1, whereas if you got within, I don't know, 0.6 of a second of the car in front, you started to get negative air. So it just made your car very unstable. It made it hard to stay that close. Whereas with this new technology, and it's all about aerodynamics, right? The cars can actually be very, very close together and unaffected. So there was a situation today where the leader and the second placed cars, swapped places about 6 times in about 2 laps. It was insane. So when you redesign things, there's an element of the unknown there. And Ferrari seemed to have done the best job, so they won today's race. Mercedes qualified in 6th and 9th, which suggested they're some way off the pace. Red Bull were thought to be the best car in a race-type scenario, so over 50, 60 odd laps. And to be honest, they were doing well. They were 2nd and 3rd, and both of their cars essentially disintegrated or fell away right in the last 2 laps. Wow. So there's quite a lot of drama. It was good. Nice to see it back.
I mean, I understand Brendan's point. Is it going to be like that for the rest of the season, or is it a case of there's a bedding in process here?
I think I would expect Mercedes to find the issues with their car and to get back up to the front. So I think what you might have this season is 3 teams competing for wins as opposed to 2. You'll see the odd crazy result, I've no doubt, but it should become more competitive overall. But I think, with Hamilton, you've got experience and, calm approach allied with generally the best car. And with Verstappen, you have a driver who's the mirror image of the brand he drives for. He's all action, all emotion, it's do or die. And that's a great combination of things because you've got a scientist against an absolute, a madman, a nutcase in a car who's extremely talented.
Who's favourite to win the drivers' championship this year?
I don't think anybody knows. Do you know? I mean, you might have a favourite, but it's not based on.
Is Leclerc who won today? I mean, they've said he is an up and coming for a while and just hasn't been in a Ferrari car that's able to do anything.
Yeah.
Could this just quite easily be a year where Ferrari nail it and he's good enough a driver to do it? Yeah?
He's definitely good enough a driver, and I think Sainz behind him is probably not that far away either. I think it'll come down to the car, and I suppose while Ferrari would seem to have the best car today, and they're likely to have the best car in race 2, quite how things might shape up for race 3 and 4 is hard to tell because there'll still be a lot of work going on behind the scenes to develop sort of pieces and what have you, and that's what makes it interesting. It's a tech sport.
On the Verstappen situation, I do think that he is. I'll be surprised if the year goes by without him being involved in something very big.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's just 2 elbows out, to be honest. If you look at last year, maybe I'm sort of tinted glasses because I was really wanting Hamilton to win, which is probably unusual for an Irishman to be, rooting on an English sports person. But, credit where it's due. He's like top of the range driver. But I think last year he got away with a lot. If you look how many times Hamilton had to pull out to avoid collisions with him, when it was the other way around, he was never pulling out. So when it comes to somebody who's not going to pull out, and both of them are not going to pull out, like the only reason there wasn't accidents between him and Hamilton was because Hamilton was more pragmatic about the situation.
Well, there was a couple
there
was a couple of accidents, and I think in both of those, Hamilton decided enough was enough. So, in the early parts of the season last year, definitely Hamilton was more pragmatic, and he pulled out of, corners that he might otherwise have gone for, because he knew Verstappen is going for this, and frankly, do I want to, end up in a wall? We might both end up in a wall. Is that what I want? But at Silverstone, I think he put his foot down literally and sent Hamilton into Verstappen into a wall at, crikey, must hit the wall at about 190 miles an hour. How he survived that, I don't know.
But I think the authorities had a hand in that too, in as much as like
Yeah,
they could have very easily nipped Verstappen in the bud and said, okay, some of this is like very very borderline. Let's
yeah. But the
get
reality is, though, Brendan, right? That's what the viewers want to see. They want to see, a sportsman living on the edge. And Verstappen is that way. It's a seriously dangerous sport, albeit it's not as dangerous as it has been in the past. But you've got to look at him and just admire his incredible fighting spirit. I don't think there is another driver on the planet, maybe ever, that could have got that Red Bull to a championship last season.
no, there's no question about that. Des, he is he's an exceptional driver, but I don't know that he needs to be so on the line as that. To be honest with you, I really don't think he does need to be that far on the line.
Well, it brought a
But
lot
we
of people
see.
in. Brought a lot of people in. There's a lot of
It,
interest in
it
Formula
certainly
One.
does. Yeah, it certainly does.
It's not like when we had
So
Derek
we
Daly back in the day, Brendan. Do you remember Derek Daly?
Yeah, yeah. I just loved the Jordan days. They were fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, Lee.
yeah.
No, I was just going to say we are heads up now in the main event. Martin Mulso got it all in with an ace 9, I think it was, and ran into the queens of Giuliano. So it's Giuliano Filo from Brazil up against Pontus Dahlgren from Sweden. Giuliano's got what was that going to be? Nearly a 5-1 chip lead going into this. So we'll see how this plays out. They're guaranteed now $436, and it's $676 up top. So they're playing for a difference of about $240 here. So be interested. Does Giuliano here just keep putting the foot down and with aggressive with a 5-1 chip lead? Brendan, is that kind of the way? You don't really want to let your opponent back in, yeah?
Yeah, I think you want to just be like raise it every time, but not necessarily playing big pots unless you really have something.
Yeah, so it's that. But it's quite interesting when you watch people play heads up. Some people don't have that ability to go, as you say. The second part of what you've just said there is actually the key to it, isn't it? Is you expect them to be aggressive because they're the chip, they're the chip daddy at the table, but at the same time, not getting involved in big pots unless you're good, because otherwise you could well double your opponent up, and all of a sudden it then becomes a very different game.
Yeah, very much. That's certainly I found that to be the best. It's hard though, there's an adrenaline issue too. I've struggled with it for a long time, where you get the chip lead and you're bossing tables. It's very hard to find the break because I think there's an adrenaline issue in it as well as anything else.
Well, people talk about the best players have the ability to go up through the gears as the tournament progresses, but I think also the best players also have the ability to know when to just drop down a gear.
Yeah.
and just go, actually, right, I'm just going to consolidate here, as actually they've got it all in, ace 9 versus 6s, and Giuliano's hit a 9, so it needs to be a 6, and it's not, and we are going to have a winner there. Giuliano Marques Filo from Brazil picks up the win, beating Pontus Dahlgren heads up. I will quickly flick over to the PLO, because we have a PLO final table on the go as well, Des. So bear with me for a second.
No worries, my friend.
I will get that table up as well, because we have one Richard Rudling Smith on this table. So there we go. That should be there for you now.
Right, let's just go on there. And as we're doing that, Lee, we've just seen Stefan Fischer is in chat, and Stefan says, hello there. I can't watch long, but was there info regarding WCOAP? We Dutch can't play on BWin Party. New rules. Well, that's disappointing. If BWin has been taken out of the mix, what is going on there?
Yeah, no, that was that
Dutch
happened
regulation?
a little while ago. Yeah, that changed a little while ago.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, absolutely no news on online, Stefan. No news there. The only news that we've mentioned tonight is that the window of the WCOAP will be towards the end of June to the first weekend in July. That's when we expect it to be. More information to follow, but that's the window to look out for. So it's an early summer WCOAP this year, end June to the early part of July.
Yeah, but and also obviously in the UK.
In the UK
for first one back, yeah. So, and hopefully we'll as soon as we can get the get that info, the final dates and stuff out to you, we will do that. But we at the moment can't quite just get that signed off, so we can let you all know it. But as soon as we can, we will do that for you. So three-handed here in this PLO main event, and we've got. I mean, no pressure here, Des, but chip leader at the moment is Thomas.
I see the flag.
I was going to say you will see the flag, which means he's not going to win. So because whenever you start rooting for an Irish player on these final tables, it never happens. So Thomas from Ireland, Richard obviously is from the UK or more specifically Wales, and Sergei is I think Sergei's Latvia.
I want to say, did Thomas get heads up for maybe this same event 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Tommy G is a top player. He's Latvian, Lithuanian, and one of those two. He lives in Ireland, but he's a top online player. I was just doing a search there to try and find his online handle that he puts mainly under, but I couldn't. It just won't come to me. He's a really, really solid player. Really solid player. He's been playing. He doesn't play the leaderboards, but he plays this event every Sunday.
He lost heads up to Michelle 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, there you go. I did meet him at one of the Irish poker festivals very recently, and you know, because I have run into him in this game a lot, and I said, Tommy, you run like shit in this event. Excuse the French, but there is no other way to say it. He really does. He's a very accomplished Omaha player and Holden player. He's really good.
We'd call that Tomas, Lee. If he was Irish, it would be Tomas, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
You'll have to trust me on that.
Well, you've got lots of choices. Are we not all French at the moment? Aren't we? You know, after the Six Nations, is that not?
I'll tell you, having seen Boris jogging down the beach today, I think being French is not a bad call.
Oh, really? Was that? I missed that. Probably.
I've never seen anything quite like it. It was sea life turning around and heading back out to sea.
Yeah, probably for the best, I think.
There are small islands on the other side of the world that were worried about, tsunamis and stuff as a result.
Oh dear, that's quite worrying.
What was more worrying was that there was a photographer running alongside him trying to keep up. That was even more worrying. But there you go.
Keep up. Oh,
I know. Yeah. Well, that photographer was running backwards, though. I have to say.
Oh, fair enough. That's
so
holding a camera.
Not at all good to say this. So we've got an international break coming up for football, haven't we? I think is it World Cup playoffs or something? Or
yeah. The Welsh are in that, aren't you? Are you in that, Lee?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on now with it all because
you're playing. Scots and the Ukraine game has been postponed.
Moved that one, have they? Yeah. But how does that work with the final? Is it the finals of that? So how are they doing that then? Because I thought that was
probably going to need to have that semi-final before they have the final.
But I thought the semi-finals and the finals were effectively all happening supposed to be happening in this.
It's not going to happen. Can't happen.
Yeah.
Can't happen. There's a war. There's a war over there. I don't know if you'd known there was a war in Scotland, but
no, I don't know what war you're talking about. I only take my news from Russia Today, so I've got no idea
what war
you're talking about. Yeah.
It's absolutely horrific over there, gents. I mean, how can we reconcile what we're seeing in front of our very own eyes on mobile phones, proper TV cameras, journalists getting shot all over the place? It's like, it's a proper war, unlike anything I think we've seen before.
Yeah, it's bloody awful. I had a misfortune of having to drive some fresh off the plane, Ukrainian refugees. Last Wednesday, stroke Thursday morning, I arrived at Dublin Airport at 9 o'clock last Wednesday, to not knowing where I was likely to go. So it's very haphazard what's happening. I don't know. It's obviously for a reason. So they arrive on the various flights, and then there's this whole, effort to getting them registered for, social welfare and stuff like that. Like, they're doing it very, the job that they're doing is fantastic, but getting them accommodation has been difficult. So net result is we've been arriving as the company I work for has been arriving at like 9 o'clock at the Dublin Airport, not knowing
Where are you going to?
where they're going to be going to. So
Wow.
I happen to be on Wednesday night. Bear in mind, I'm flying to Cheltenham the next day to Birmingham. So I arrive at 9 o'clock, and I didn't get loaded until like 2:30 a.m. and heading for the Ring of Kerry, Cahersiveen.
Jesus wept. That's horrendous.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was. But I did. So we was a couple of drivers there, sat around having tea and waiting for stuff to happen. But we did sort of agree that the people that were arriving were probably the more affluent Ukrainians.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Like,
Well, yeah.
like one of my passengers had a dog with her, and the dog had more luggage than most passengers I normally see. So it was
Yeah.
funny, but at the same time, there was sad. There was old women, with their, obviously, with their families. It was obviously harder on the older folk, because they're certainly not going to be, as open to change, and to be set in their ways and not wanting to leave
Oh,
where
it's a
they come
disaster.
from. So
An
uh,
absolute
it, it
disaster.
it was pretty horrific. And then, like, I did some, like, bringing them to Cahersiveen, like, it's next stop Boston. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
It's very, very isolated part of the country. I don't know whether, like, one of my passengers, the minute she got off my bus, the scenery is absolutely fantastic. But she got off and immediately said to me at like 7:30 a.m. getting off the bus, it said to me, "When are you going back to Dublin?" Which,
Yeah.
because I couldn't get involved in that at all, because it can't be just
Yeah.
bringing people back. So
Yeah. Well,
so it was a pretty rough, to be honest with you. It was a long old drive for a start, and basically I got home just in time to drive back to the airport to catch my flight. It was a long, so no sleep. So, well, I took an hour's break when I got to Kerry, and turned back around at 8:30 and made it home for 2:30. With just like time to jump in the shower, get in the car, and drive to the airport to catch a flight. But it was very, very sad, very
yeah.
sad looking at
What is
some of
the
the people.
what was the general mood of people, Brendan? Was it something of relief to be nearing the end of a journey, or was it still incredible sadness, family left behind? I mean, what was the general
Yeah.
sort of mood like?
Oh, I mean, it was. I mean, you could tell they were relieved to be, a little bit rabbit in the headlights, sort of stunned and dazed, sort of a thing to it. Some people. So the lady who asked me when was I going back to Dublin, like, they were my last. So it was six, a family of six, and they were the last on to the bus. They literally were like very reluctant. They were obviously doing their homework and where they were going, and very reluctant to accept, that this is where we have accommodation for you.
God, there's
Uh,
middle-aged Irish people that have the same reaction to landing in Cahersiveen. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, yeah. Of course.
if you're
Well,
Ukrainian, what the hell?
at least they've got a good Gaelic football team to watch
Too
down there.
right.
So
Too
yeah.
right.
So, but it is like, and the town itself. Talking to the guys when I arrived, they're saying, yeah, it's pretty quiet. There's a lot of pubs up there on the main street, but you'll get maybe one or two of them open now. It's been very quiet through lockdown and stuff like that, and people moving out into tourism. It relies heavily on tourism, so it would have took a bash
Uh,
over the last 2 years.
on the
So,
on the
I mean,
plus
all
side.
of it's all of it's a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, you shared with the show team WhatsApp chat a story you'd heard, I think, from was it the Tuesday on another bus about the lady. Do you want to just? I mean,
Oh
you
yeah,
explain it better than me. Yeah.
yeah, it's very sad. So I was talking to a guy on Wednesday night who had done a run the previous night, and he arrived to his destination, Bundoran. Again, like pretty isolated north of the country, the opposite direction, but pretty isolated part of the country. Let his passengers off, and then a little bit of a commotion outside, and there was a lady who was like, you know, hopping between, deliriously happy, laughing and sobbing her heart out. And so people were trying to figure out, is she gone mad? What's going on here? Um, anyway, the net result of it was she had just got confirmation on the phone. Bear in mind, she was with her 3-year-old son. She got confirmation that her 13-year-old son, who she had been separated from on the Polish border, had been found and was on the next flight to Dublin. I mean, just
Wow.
how do you like get on a flight knowing your 13-year-old is missing? I mean, oh my God. Horrific stuff, really, really horrific stuff. Well, I mean, a happy ending, obviously, but like, God love them.
Wow. Well, Carrie's out there as well. He's talking about, I haven't watched it since the first week. Just can't watch the news. Yeah, it goes one way or the other. You either stay away from it or you can't get enough of it. It's shocking stuff that's still happening in the modern day. It's just incredible. Yeah, and it's hard to know when it'll finish and how it'll finish. But
It's interesting. It sounds like there are discussions taking place, which I think maybe a week ago or 10 days ago didn't even sound like that was something which was even going to be a potential option. Whether they can find some diplomatic solution to it, I don't know. I think, but as every day goes on, there's Ukrainians losing their lives. There's Russians losing, Russian soldiers losing their lives, who I think are kind of in Ukraine for under false pretenses as to what they were there supposed to be there for. And what's happening is as much as there's a war happening in Ukraine, there is an information war going on about what's going on. I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger was out this week with a video. I don't know whether either of you saw it. Trying to communicate to the Russian people to tell them what's going on, and to help them understand it. Because
Yeah,
I think
that's interesting because at the onset of the social media age, I really thought that things like this was going to be a bygone time, because I felt that social media will mean that the truth will get out and people will know exactly what's going on, and I can't really understand why that hasn't happened. Why social media hasn't sort of overrun mainstream media in getting the message out there.
I think a lot of it's been banned in Russia, right? I think Facebook's been banned, so it's taken down. Obviously,
Yeah.
the main news channels are all propaganda. So I think there's elements of that, but of course, there's lots of people protesting and stuff. I think there was a particular hard line taken against them early, but it's just that misinformation has a lot of people thinking, "Oh, this is something that we had to do." Might not like it, but we had to do this thing.
Yeah, you see, the algorithms then are a problem, aren't they? Because it gives you, what you tend to read. So if you're like focus on one side of any of these divisive issues, it's only going to show you the one side. So you don't even know that the other side exists.
Yeah.
If you take like, Brexit, Trump, you name it, whatever issues have been there in recent times, the social media algorithms will feed you the stuff that you read the most. So you really then end up going down and being polarized about stuff.
Yeah.
because it's all it shows you and it's all you read, and you don't even know about the other side of it. Unless you try really hard to find out, which people tend not to do, I suppose.
Oh, it's very, very true.
But even when you investigate, it's difficult to know what's real, and what's not. What do you believe and don't you believe? This is the thing, because there's stuff that can be out there, and before you know it, certainly on Twitter, it's been shared, thousands and thousands of times, and people are believing it. Or, well, it must be true because everybody's been sharing it, and it's only then you go back and go. But even if you can then prove it isn't, and it's fact checked after the event, it's too late. The kind of the damage has been done, so to speak. In
people are not returning at that stage. Yeah.
Well, I just hope if they do come to some form of, peace agreement, and as you were intimating, Lee, it seems like they're progressing in that direction. And I suppose if you're the Ukrainian president, at a point you sort of have to start thinking about your people that are now being wantonly targeted in their homes. If it does happen, I hope there isn't a clause in there that allows Putin to get away with this. I mean, it has to be war crime. It's got to be another Hague or whatever it is, and the guy's got to be brought to justice, right?
You'd hope so, but it's a really difficult one, isn't it? Because I guess his view is he's not doing anything wrong.
He knows what he's doing, right?
But if he knows that that's the end, that's ultimately the end, he's not going to sign off on anything where that's going to be a thing. I mean, they can, the rest of the world can go after him at any point you like. But whilst he's, firing salvos at NATO and they're not whiter than white, which they probably aren't. It's very difficult for him to kind of turn around and go, so what are you going to do about it? I think the economic sanctions that are in play at the moment are some of the strongest I think has ever been seen. And I guess until it has the sort of impact on the Russian people, where they start turning around going, what's going on here? That's when I think you ultimately will see, we'll see something happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest chance of that happening is definitely from within Russia itself.
Yeah, I think so. Which is and who knows how long that might take. It's the same as you mentioned Trump, Brendan, and you still go and ask the American people, who do they support now, and half of the country will probably still say Trump. Even after everything that's gone on, they'll still say Trump is best thing that ever happened to this country. And I'm sure he'll be back in another 3 years' time, and
certainly we'll
finally have more content for the show, Des.
Certainly the best thing that ever happened to the APAT show, Trump. Of that, there's no question.
Yeah.
How can he be elected? That's just ridiculous.
No, it was great. It was great.
Do you honestly think that I think there is? I don't know what the odds are on it, but I would imagine it's a pretty strong possibility that he could be back. He could be back in power.
Well, I heard that he could. I heard that in 2022 he could run for the House of Representatives and become the leader, and effectively, Biden and Nancy Pelosi, he could basically sack them and be ready for 2024 to run for president. I hear all of that's possible. I'm sure somebody out there is offering some odds on that. It's probably those odds are probably more favorable than Liverpool winning the league still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their electoral system is just ludicrous, isn't it? When you consecutively have scenarios where you've got like the electorate has an option of Joe Biden or Trump or Hillary Clinton or Trump. Something is seriously wrong when that's the best two candidates this massive country can come up with.
Kerry's in the know here.
I see her. Yeah, she's going with capitals. I know I'm in trouble when it's capitals. She says, no, it's not, because he wouldn't be the leader of the House. Look, Kerry, this is a great plan, right? It's a great plan. It's perhaps the greatest plan that we've had since the last great plan, which I like to refer to as the great plan of 2016. It's a great plan. We're going to build a wall.
Des, I think you'll find it'll be beautiful.
It'll be beautiful. The plan is going to cost billions, billions and billions and billions. We're going to build a wall around the Democrats in the House, and we're going to take over. That's what we're going to do. We're going to break out.
The great thing is that although we're live on here, we are on a sort of 30-second delay. So when Kerry says in the chat, "No, it wasn't in capitals," I have no idea what she's referring to. I genuinely don't know. It could be
I think she might have been referring to when I said it was great. It was great for the APAT show. I truly believe that. It was very, very entertaining. And she's saying, no wonder I didn't watch the show back then. But that's the point. Everybody else did. They loved it. It was great. Do you remember it, Lee? It was great.
It's not. We weren't kind of like high-fiving for Trump. We were very much
very anti-Trump. Very, very anti-Trump, Kerry. Just to be clear here. But being anti something is good for ratings, apparently.
It is all good. So we are heads up in this PLO. We've got a similar situation from 2 weeks ago. We've got Tommy G from Ireland, as Brendan has already said, the very, very accomplished Omaha player, up against a young whippersnapper from the UK. 2 weeks ago it was Michelle, and this week it's young Rich Yar, as we'll now call him, I think. Yeah, so
Richard the R.
So we got Tommy G versus Rich Yar. Heads up for this. Not a million miles apart in chips, to be honest. Richard's got a bit of a chip lead here, but it's nothing too serious.
He's got a whole country on his shoulders. Welsh could do with a bit of success this weekend.
Well, yeah, very much so.
God,
yeah.
Lee, we haven't talked about the rugby. Nice introduction there, Brendan. Whatever happened? Wales losing to Italy, of course.
Well, it was. I don't. Did you whether you watched the game or
dead rubber? Didn't see it.
Absolute dead rubber. So you had Alan Wynne with his 150th cap. You had Dan Biggar with his 100th cap, I think it was. So big day. But it meant absolutely nothing. As we know with the Six Nations, unless you're first in the Six Nations, the rest of the positions are just a little bit of a. It doesn't really make a lot of difference. I was very pleased for the Italians actually. I thought they played better than 35 straight defeats in over the last 6 years. I certainly think they've been better than that.
Have they had 35 straight defeats?
Yeah. yeah.
I thought they had a season where they looked pretty handy. Was that like 7 or 8 years ago?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Oh
a long time ago. So interestingly, we went into this game. I mean, we actually scored a bunch of tries. They were only kicking penalties, and then within the last move of the match, they're in their own half, and the skill was just it was worth what so you were happy to pay your money to watch that try at the end and the emotion of them kicking the final conversion to win it. And as a Welshman, didn't really bother me because it was just a dead rubber. So
of more concern, Lee, is I think because that the under-20s also lost to Italy.
Really?
Yes,
wow.
That's a bigger concern. Yeah, that is a bigger concern.
Yeah.
Now, Ireland under-20s are absolutely flying, aren't they?
Yeah, they're absolutely awesome.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
When is the next World Cup, gents? It can't be too far away. And where is it?
It's France, I want to say. And,
okay.
And it should be next year, 2023, I think.
Superb.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Could be coming at a good time for Ireland, that one.
And that French team looks really strong, though.
French looks really good. I think they've got some absolute top world class players.
But here's the thing, guys, and I'm telling you now, take it from me, they never travel well, right? They never travel well, so they can't win it.
We did say it's in France, right?
Oh, bollocks! Get your money on France, then.
Yeah, that's slightly worrying.
There'll be infighting. There's bound to be infighting. Come on, it's a big major event. They'll be sleeping with each other's wives and everything.
So I've just had a message from our very own Tom Brady saying, "Loving the show, guys, but how have you not plugged the APAT London sats yet?" And he's got a good point, Des. We've not mentioned.
Are there sats for APAT London, Lee?
So this time next week, we will have the online day one for APAT London. It is going to be this time next week. Starts at 7:00. on the Sunday. So there will be satellites building up to that this week. So you'll be able to get into it for a fraction of the buy-in. You'll find them. So you'll find the online day one in the lobby already, and should see satellites going live from tomorrow. So you should be able to get in for, say, absolute pennies or pounds of the 120 buy-in. So yeah, give it a whirl if you want to try and get into that. Don't forget, if you qualify through the online day one, that puts you directly into the day two, which means you're already in the cash for APAT London, which is the following weekend. So yeah, give it a go if you can this week and support the satellites. If you're about or think you're playing London and think, well, actually, yeah, I might just have a go at trying to get my day two stack already sorted. We are trialing the if you can have one bullet per day. So you can play the online one. If you don't get through to that and you want to then have a go at one of the live day ones on the Friday or the Saturday, you can do that as well. So and we'll see how all that goes in the next week. But they'll be in the lobby from tomorrow. So get involved if you can. We will fire some messages out around social media and on emails tomorrow as well, just to give everybody a reminder of what's going on.
Sweet, nice one, Lee. So how are we doing in the turbo, Lee? How many do we
are
there?
down to 4 in the turbo.
Okay.
So
on.
Just 4 to go in that now. So James Ball is currently chip leader in that. Actually, James has got pretty much what the other 3 players remaining have got all added up together. So got a nice chip lead there in that one. I don't think anybody that's left is going to have much of an impact on the finishing positions, but it just depends on. It might make a difference on where Richard finishes in this, actually, because Richard was up near the top of the leaderboard, so that could have an impact on it. So, but as always, we'll never leave the show until we've announced who the winners are for the week. So that'll all be sorted, I reckon, in the next 10 or 15 minutes. I would have thought.
Shout out to Brian Frew. Excellent effort up in the top 5.
Yeah, good job, Brian.
Yeah, but just
had a couple of cashes earlier on in the week. Yeah,
decent cashes, obviously, because he's only got 2 cashes.
Yeah,
so obviously we're decent. So obviously we were very decent.
He's whistled his way into the top 5.
Few ever presents up there too.
Yeah, I mean, you play these quite a lot, so you must say you kind of just see the people that you come across on a regular basis, yeah.
Yeah, very, very much. It's a pretty regular crowd. We spoke about it the last day. One thing I didn't mention, it's a huge. Tony Ross and myself probably had a huge advantage anyway. I certainly don't have it anymore, but. In as much as you could play every single night, so that in itself is quite a big advantage, I would think.
Yeah, so Brian finished 4th in the 6 max PKO, the first one of the week, which always gets a lot of runners. So he's picked up some decent points in that, and then he finished 3rd in the PKO on. When would that have been? Wednesday as well, which again is another one which gets good number of runners. So if you can finish in the top 3 or 4 of those ones, you will pick up a few more points just because of the number of runners in them. So yeah, so he's 3rd and a 4th. Yeah, very
good.
And obviously a nice tidy bit of cash to go with it for those 2 as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I suspect with Richard, of course, smaller field in this.
Hold on.
Here
we go, guys. Wow, big hand.
Yeah, Richard scoops that one.
And that Richard will have enough points to finish first on the leaderboard.
I think.
So guys, are we good? We had a little glitch there. Are you there?
We all dropping in and out.
Yeah, I think we had a A little glitch.
Yeah, we're back now. So yeah, I think I think Richard will need to win this because I think he needs to make up about 44 points, something like that, which means he will need a win if he's going to do that. But I'm sure he's already worked that out.
Tony Ross have any cashes this evening, Des Leigh?
No, nothing. So I think he was on 4 and still is on 4, I think. And is not in anything else. So no, but he does mean Tony is going to get himself back up to step 5. Des, he was down in the doldrums for a couple of weeks, but very quickly got himself back up to step 5.
Never a doubt, Lee, that we'd see Tony back. Never a doubt.
No, exactly.
So an expensive date again.
Yes.
It's all good. Not like our other favorite Tony who recently said R.I.P. APAT. We'll have to get him on soon and have a heart-to-heart with him, a tete-a-tete.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say that's an algorithm thing as well.
I'll switch. I'll switch his bloody algorithm. I'll tell you.
That's a coded message for BCPC.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me.
You do.
That's me done for now, isn't it? I'm going to replace John Murray as the,
But the thing is, though, you tend to find whenever you're having the discussions, and there can be quite a polarized discussion in people are very much one way or the other with it, but it tends to be those that are critical, but that have got something to say about what decisions have been made, tend to be a little bit louder voice wise than those that are just like, well, okay, I'm happy to go with that, and let's see how it works out. That tends to be the way it always comes across.
There were a lot of valid points.
Oh yeah, too right.
I only got to read that then after the show. All of those comments and that whole debate. The only thing I will say about it is some of it is put in a way that's very dramatic, which sometimes it sort of weakens your point, if you like. If you're over dramatic about the point you're trying to make.
Yep.
But some of the points really I did think were very, very valid.
I think the points are valid. I suppose I'm having a laugh about the RIP APAT comment, and I wouldn't generally laugh about something like that, but obviously we've been around the block for quite a few years now, and this isn't the first time that we've found ourselves in a situation whereby maybe decisions made haven't proved popular. I mean, we've been there before, and we've always bounced back strongly. So, be patient with us. I think we've earned that over the years. We always listen.
Very much, and unless we've got a dodgy broadband signal, and you keep cutting in and out, and then I don't know what the hell's going on. So, and I don't know whether it's my end or your end, but so we're having a few tech problems tonight.Maybe it is just me. So,
Sunday night on the line.
Richard is taking a serious control of this now. He's got over a 3-1 chip lead. It's just chipped away here, Brendan, doesn't he? Really not.
It was the one big pot. It was that scenario, wasn't it, where Tommy was bossing things, and then played a big pot. They played a big pot, and Rudders had a set of 6s. I think Tommy missed quite a few draws on that run out. I'm not sure. It happened very quickly, so I didn't catch really how it ran out. But I think Tommy had a couple of draws. Obviously, if he's putting that many chips in, so that was like a 900k pot, wasn't it, when he does that set of 6s? So
yeah, so Tommy's down to now about 12 bigs. I mean, heads up wise, at what point? How low does he go with this before you feel like you just got to get your chips in and get to go when you're in heads up scenario?
Well, 12 is worth way more in PLO because it's pot limit. So it's not like you're gonna get, like, even if you get 3-bet, it's not gonna be that many big blinds. So I wouldn't suspect there's going to be a lot of 3-betting. I did notice whilst Tommy had the lead that time, he was playing. He was raising every button, and when Richard was playing his button, he was just flat calling. So I suspect then if Tommy wants to stretch it out a little bit and start limping his button, I think Richard will probably allow him to do that, so he can, stretch it. He could see more hands if you like.
Yeah. He's looking like he's fighting back a little bit. So I was looking and seeing, Brendan, there's a lot of tournaments starting to open up in Ireland, and poker tours seem to be popping up all over the place. It seems to be quite vibrant. So maybe even more so than what's going on in the UK at the moment.
Not at the same level. Like, you've got those Grosvenors at a 1,000 entry or something, like very big entry fees, are getting great crowds. So the entry number doing well around Ireland seems to be in the 150, 250 range. So obviously those get bigger numbers. That's what tends to happen in the Irish market is the depending on how vibrant and growing the poker economy is, the entry fees tend to go up, start drifting up. You'll go from 150, 250 events up to 500 events and on to 1,000. Like the Irish Open has drifted from $3,500 down to 1,100 at the moment. I suspect that will probably go back up again over the next couple of years. So I did play for the first time. I played a satellite for the Irish Open there this evening on party, first time ever. No success, obviously, but I never even tried to play it because it's so expensive. Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah, Richard. I think Richard had a set, but Tommy had the straight. I think it was. Yeah, I don't think either of them were going to necessarily get away from it at that point when the chips were in. But that's completely flipped it.
Yeah.
So what will be your plan for Vegas then, Brendan? Obviously, you've got the two senior events that you're going to play. Are you planning, a lot more poker in between those, or is it a case of just playing a little bit at the Nugget and what takes your fancy? Obviously, I'm expecting a lot of people to be out there that you'll know at some point during your trip. That's normally the way it goes.
The Nugget Grand Series, I play a lot of those events, but they have been very slow to come out. This is it over, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to be it. And Tommy's going to take the win on that one.
I like that Nugget Grand Series, but it's very late here, so I think they're announcing on the 1st of April. So we'll see what happens there. Then there's usually a seniors in the area. There's a seniors in Venetian. So we'll see what happens. The fact that I'm playing the two World Series events and that's going to be the guts of $2,000. It may curtail some of the bigger events. I might just stick with the 125, 150 daily at the Nugget, which is fantastic, 20K guaranteed. But we see what happens. I had the initial plan was that we would go out for 10 days and do a trip over to Utah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that's going to happen now. The car hire prices have kind of scuppered that a little bit, and then the fact that the seniors and the super seniors are spread over a 6 or 7 day period, which sort of leaves very little room for maneuver.
Yeah.
So we see. So I qualify for both, but my brother only qualifies for the one. So it's not like I could say, well, we'll go later and just catch the super seniors. So we'll see what happens. But it's a fabulous time of the year to go because the options for playing tournaments for anybody is just unbelievable at that time of year.
Pretty hot over there, Brendan. June. July. Well, actually,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you're late June, right? It's pretty hot, right?
yeah, yeah. Very hot, very hot. We took a trip out to the dam. We drove out to the dam
Yeah,
one of the years. At that time, I think it was 108 in their money. 108 degrees. Literally, you
yeah,
couldn't touch the concrete on the dam.
yeah.
It was just, yeah, oh, absolutely. The fry and egg story definitely measures up. It's just ridiculous the heat. There was another time. Obviously, I arrived to play the seniors. We couldn't get a parking space inside, so we had to park outside. And busted reasonably early, which was obviously not the best thing in the world. But back to the car, I mean, just ridiculous how hot the car gets sat outside in the car park.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Different world.
So Ray Chan is heads up here against James Ball, and Ray's already had a cash tonight, his first one of the week. But if he wins this tonight, he will actually finish in 5th place. And pick up double tickets. So yeah, just on his 2 cashes tonight, because he finished. I think he finished 2nd in the deep stack. I think it was. Let's just double check. Yeah, finished 2nd in the deep stack. So yeah, if he actually if he wins this tonight, he would end up top 5 in the leaderboard.
Hopefully that won't push Brian Frew out of the top 5. Hopefully
it would.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then I think then Brian will hold on to his top 5 place. I think that could well be the difference.
So we're rooting for James Ball.
Well, Ray's made a lot of final tables, hasn't he? Over the
he's played a lot.
Months.
Yeah,
he's played a lot. He's made a lot of finals.
Yeah. So
he
certainly has played a lot. But what it does mean, I can already confirm that Petr Taborski from the Czech Republic with 3 cashes this week is going to finish top of the leaderboard. Can't get caught. Tony Ross is going to finish 2nd. Rudders is going to finish 3rd. And Oliver Cox, who won the deep stack earlier on and has had another cash this week as well, is going to finish 4th. So well done to all of those guys. Other than that, Des, you'll be pleased to know from 7th down to 20th on the leaderboard, they're all step 1 people.
We should stop joking about this because we're just getting ourselves a bad name. Honestly, so no harm there at all. Let the step 5s win. That's what I say.
Yeah, no, they are all they're all step. Normally the likes of Matty Ogilvy is a step 5, but he's only had 1 cash this week. Gordon is on a step 3. He only had 1 cash this week. Matthias Detters from Germany, who's won the leaderboard ladders in the last few weeks, has only had 1 cash this week. It's been a tough week for players. So yeah, they're all going to drop down a step. And Brendan, nothing this week. He's been busy hobnobbing with the gentry in Cheltenham. Yeah, exactly. So
that was a very nice trip. We didn't really talk about that much. It was a really nice trip. That so I obviously I'm not super interested in the horses, but one thing I have heard over the years is that going to Cheltenham is a nightmare to get in and out of Cheltenham. So the traffic in and out on the way in and out, but I never even heard of this thing, but it was a steam train from Toddington directly in, like 300 yards from the stand.
Wow.
It drops you.
Nice.
But it was very, I love that kind of stuff. I love sort of like step back in time sort of thing. So you're on a like narrow gauge steam train and everybody's dressed up for Cheltenham. So it has this real like post-war feel to it. You know, it's very funny walking down the platform to get on the train. It's just, it was really, really nice. I got some great photos, some videos of it. You know, I did when we were getting back on to head back after the races was over. The walking boy and your man chose just as I walked by to vent the steam engine. Oh my God. That makes some noise. It scared the life out of me.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Really did, but it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it was a great time.
There's an old steam train down with us. It's Swanage Swanage Railway, which is kind of fairly well known. They put a lot of it's actually a charity, and they do a lot of work in bringing the trains back and running services down our way in Dorset. And yeah, it is incredible when you see it, and it has a kind of just nice warm feel about it when you see the train still running. It's great.
You're in Swanage, Lee.
Well, I'm not a million miles away. Yeah.
Yeah, I did visit. I had the pleasure of visiting there a couple of years back. Beautiful, lovely part of the world. Beautiful.
Yeah, very lucky down in Dorset here. It's there's so many nice places.
Kerry's out there saying, I love a steam train. She's been on one up in the Lake District when they visited up there. Sean and I went on a murder mystery evening on a steam train in, I want to say, Llangollen. It was beautiful place. And we went on this train, and there were people walking up and down with, bits of script and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, I just laughed the whole way through.
I feel you'd make a very good Poirot, Des. I think
so. I think so too. The murderer is.
Yeah, there is that feel to it, isn't there? Like the train went through a tunnel at one stage.
Exactly, everybody ducked.
I said to Trevor, who's my son's father, and I says, Trevor, we come out of here, somebody's going to be dead. Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely. Well, James has taken a massive chip lead here now, and the chips have all gone in again.
Here we go.
And it's not really gone for Ray when it comes to winning his flips yet. That's the second one that he's lost, and that's going to be that. And so James Ball is going to pick up the win there. They both pick up $63 for the cash, and James Ball picked up $83 worth of bounties, and Ray picked up 30. So well done to all of you, and Yuri Cerveny from the UK as well, finishing third. So that's done for the week. So I've confirmed Petr Taborski from the Czech Republic is top of leaderboard ladders for week 52. So well done.
Fantastic, lovely job. Well, listen, just left for us to say thanks to all of you guys for playing with us this week. Good luck next week. It all kicks off again tomorrow night, of course. Lee and I will be back next Sunday night. We'll do it all over again, hopefully with a guest, because it's always much better with a guest. Brendan, thank you. It was just a pleasure having a wee chat with you this evening, and have a good week ahead, my friend.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Yeah, lovely.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, guys. Well, with that, we shall say bonjour for this week, and we'll see you again next week. Cheers. Have a good week.